All right, guys, we're going to get started here. To most of you, welcome back. And I appreciate you guys taking the time away from your families to give us a few minutes tonight. To avoid any confusion, anybody who was on the line the other night or called in after we were gone, we had somebody uninvited show up on our conference call, and we just felt like it was the best idea for us to stop it, find out a solution, and pick a night or get information out to you guys in a different way. So we figured everything out now, so certainly here we are. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to call in, and I think I can speak for Warren, Danny, Alex, and myself that receiving some emails and text messages about some things within the last couple of days, and the appreciation for me personally towards you guys for some of the kind words and the support you guys have shown. And certainly we'd seen it a few months ago when this whole thing went down, and to have it again and to see the appreciation you guys are feeling just for the commitment we've put in and all the hard work that has gone into this. Certainly to start the season out in this manner in a positive way is exactly, what we want to do. One thing I want to touch on to start here is our assigning philosophy. It's our commitment to all conferences at all levels to make sure that we put the best available umpire on the field at all times. That's where our evaluation process will help, all the information we gain, and watching you, stuff from coaches. So that is our goal, and it's our commitment. I can speak personally to the Division I level. Obviously with the 4 conferences, we are down games, a significant amount of midweek games. So, guys that may have seen the schedule in the past, which seems a little lighter this year, unfortunately, there's just not as many games to go around. But obviously, I will do my best, and I know that Bump and Alex will do as well, certainly with reschedules and weather issues, to give you guys as many games as possible. But that's where we're at. And as far as putting the best umpires available on games, that will never change. That's really been one of the ideas from the very start, and it will continue with me as well, is to make sure the best product is out there and that we give them the best level of umpiring that they can expect and they've grown accustomed to as well. As you all know, and this has been the common practice for the last 3 years and will continue, all of our Division I and Division III umpires are NCAA postseason certified, and that's also our commitment to our conferences, that we want to make sure that we have certified NCAA umpires on staff working their games. Obviously, we all know the testing process is closed, and the clinic is closed as well. I've received spreadsheets. Alex and I reviewed them. I think we found anybody who may have not either taken the test and passed or did the online clinics. If there is anybody else out there who works D1 and D3 games that did not fulfill their responsibility, we'll be contacting this week. And I've had to make a couple of those phone calls already. Certainly not a phone call I ever want to make again. So in the future, guys, for anyone who hasn't, or for all of our members, this is going to be the practice. And if you fell into that category of missing one of those two, just please take care of that, because we certainly don't want to take games away from anyone or anyone who's worked very hard to get those assignments. They're yours, and we want you to keep them. And really, that test, guys, I encourage guys who failed it once or unfortunately twice, in the future, get together. Get groups of guys together. I mean, doing it on your own is fine, but really the purpose behind the test is to get in the rule book. We know you have to pass it with an 85 or better, but that's really just to get your mind in the book and get you ready and thinking about the rules before we start our season. Okay. We did not have Region 3 junior college certified for NCAA baseball this year, just because the contract we signed mid-fall. But know that in 2019, that's what we're going to do there, so it'll be for everybody. Guys, I want to talk about handling situations and what we do when we have an ejection. All ejections should be called in within 60 minutes of the end of the game. Alex at Division III level, myself for Division I, and Bump for Region 3. We need to have a heads up. We need to know what's going on, because certainly with ejections and in most cases some suspensions, we need to get on the ball and make sure that I get information and I have information, or Alex or Bump do, before we have to speak with coaches or administrators. So it's very important to say, hey, I had an ejection today, and let us know right away. Also, Alex takes care of Region 19 and the Penn State Division III League as well. Okay? Now, that ejection report should be received by us by 9 a.m. the following day. I mean, guys, I prefer it done at night, me personally. Certainly for weekends, guys are on the road. I know I've had to do it in the past. Take the time, fill it out, and send it that evening. It's very important with the ejection process. I don't have this in our list of things to talk about, but just so you guys know, there is a ways and means now for head coaches to fill out a report and basically dispute either the ejection or suspension. So let's just make sure that everything that happened on the field is accurate. What he said, what you said, it has to be accurate. And if we get our warnings in and do the right thing, and you're accurate and truthful about things, there should be no issues. But just do know that it has to be accurate. And if you do something wrong, you have to say you did something wrong and have it in that report. One major thing, guys, that at all levels, and Alex and I have spoken to Division III coaches, I've spoken to Division I coaches, Bump has spoken to junior college coaches, is bench jockeying. And the NCAA and these conferences are backing us and backing you guys. They don't want this in the game anymore. They want it taken care of. So we have to do a really good job of being consistent, everybody, and identifying when it's happening and get the warnings out there. Our conferences are backing us up. We've sat in a number of meetings where that's been a major topic. So make sure you're handling it. Get the warnings out, because you have complete backing from us and from the conferences. I want to speak a little bit about evaluations and observations. As I mentioned earlier, myself, Alex, and Bump are the three coordinators, but we also have observers out there, Joe Cruz, John Porter, and Chris Hubler. So you'll see us out there. And sometimes maybe we'll sneak in, or maybe we'll just be out there in the open and say hi and come in and see you before the games, whatever. But just know that we're going to be out there, and that's going to aid in assignments, tournament selections, and really for your improvement as well. I know when I umpired and I saw somebody in the stands, I was always aware of it, and that was one thing I always had to fight a little bit and try to ignore it. But don't feel pressure. Don't do anything any differently. It's a positive thing, not a negative at all. In addition to our observers and the three of us being out there, and all three of us are encouraging head coaches to make sure they send in their evaluations as well. And it's going to be very important at the Division I level for me for a number of reasons. But, it's just one more level of evaluations that I get, that Alex and Bump get, that we can use to help you in the future, or help you get through something that's going on within the season now. But know that we're encouraging head coaches. And I realize we all do, that sometimes there's two different sides to a story, or from a head coach's perspective, things might be a little bit different than the way one of us view things. But one thing I can tell you, and I've promised this to the head coaches, unless there is something dramatically wrong or a situation that I have to take care of, the head coach evaluations I will not be sharing with you guys. And if I do share it with you, I want to make this very clear. You or any other umpire that goes back to that school is not to do anything or hold a grudge or any animosity towards the coach or the team. And I know I don't really have to say that to you guys because you guys know better and you guys will be doing the right thing. But that is the one fear that the head coaches, at least at Division I level, have said, that they're afraid to do evals because they're afraid of what may happen when the umpire comes back. So just to protect that, I will not be sharing that during the season, end of season or into next year. In our scheduling process, I will use those tools or those evaluations to help us, but that whole interaction is not going to be happening. I won't share things with you. Crew chiefs, it's very important, especially at Division I level, that our crew chiefs send in evaluations. It's not to ding anybody. It's not to put anybody down. In my mind, if there's something you guys talk about in a locker room, and we should be doing that anyways, those are the kind of things that I want to see in an evaluation. I think you're seeing a kind of a reoccurring theme here. I want as much information, Alex does, and Bump as well, on all you guys. I would love to have multiple evaluations. So the more I have, the better it is for all involved. We're bringing back peer evaluations. So, that will come into play with a crew chief evaluating his crew members. There might be certain times that if one of you guys are working with somebody else, I might just, hey, let me know how he did. Write something up. It's not going to be as strict or as detailed as one of the evaluations that Bump, Alex, and I may do, but we're still working on that form, and certainly that's just, like I said, another level, another layer of evaluations. And one other thing, guys, and I initially had brought this up, and the thought was I wanted you guys to do self-evaluations, but thinking about the number of those coming in and the pressure to possibly hold back information, and plus it's all difficult sometimes for us to really truthfully self-evaluate ourselves. But here's what I want to say, and I think most of us are doing this anyway, and certainly if you're not, you should think about it. You certainly should want to have a specific goal in what you're trying to achieve, where you want to go. And we should be looking at our games all the time. What do we do? What do we need help in? What are we good at? What are we not so good at? And be prepared if you see myself or Joe Cruz, Hubler, Bumper, Alex, Porter, any of the guys, be prepared for that question because it might come up. I know for me personally, I want to know what your goals are. I want to know what you want to do in the future. I want to know if you're not happy where you're at now, okay? But to effectively answer that question, I think you really have to break down your umpiring, assess yourself honestly. And that's just something to think about. I think that we all should be working really hard on. All of our assignments are made from the MAC, Mid-Atlantic officials, and the arbiter system. Guys, at this point, I'm sure your name, obviously your name is in there, but the address, cell phone, email address is all current. If you guys have any changes throughout the year, change an email address, decide to use another one, change your phone number, please make sure it's updated. We certainly have to be able to get a hold of you and communicate with you throughout the season multiple times, but make sure all that stuff's updated. Travel limits, make sure it's set to 999 miles. Many of us have not done that. In fact, I'm not even sure I do, so I'm going to look right after this myself. Headshots, guys, if you don't have one, get one up, and some of them are pretty bad. So if you have a headshot where you're wearing a Hawaiian shirt with a lei around your neck or you're on the beach, I'm not sure that's something that you would want a coach or administrator to see when they're trying to figure out who you are going to a game. So I don't know if any of you guys have selfie sticks or do selfies, or you have a wife, a son or daughter, a girlfriend. Put a nice shirt on, mix a tie in maybe, look professional, because that headshot oftentimes is going to be the first thing or the first impression those coaches are going to see if they've never seen you before. So I would hate for them to think that, this Chris Marshall guy is a bum. Look at what he's wearing. Let's come across in a professional way. Okay, arbiter information. As you guys know, our assignments have been completed, and we get them done very early. And for many reasons, certainly to be easier for us, but also more importantly, to get your schedules out to you guys so you guys can plan ahead, make arrangements for travel and stuff like that. So they're out. Guys, you have to keep updated with this. You got to check daily for additions and reschedules, cancellations, because we all know what the weather's like. There's going to be changes. There's going to be weather issues. So make sure you're checking every day. If there's any changes, a cancellation, you wake up, you've been talking to the coach, we're going to wait till noon for a 3 o'clock game, you'll know by now, whatever the case may be. Once you have that information of a cancellation or reschedule, any of those things, please contact us, email us, let us know so we can update it in the system. Certainly time changes, that's good to know too, but as long as you're on the same page with the school, shoot us a line anyways, but that's not as important as a cancellation or anything like that. So make sure you just keep us up to date on that. And most importantly, keep your availability up to date. For any assigner, the most difficult thing is to send or schedule somebody a game, and then we get an email back saying, I'm not available. So, take care of that. Run this as your own small business. Keep it up to date. If you can't work, we have plenty of guys that can work games. If there's ever a time where one of us may beg and plead because of weather to please try to work the game for us, and we're really in a bind, you might hear that once in a while. But if you keep your games updated, your availability, then it just avoids that situation where now you have to call us back and say you can't work. Okay? Guys, remember one thing, that the games disappear after 21 days in the system. So keep record of your full assignment, print it out, screenshot it, whatever you want to do, but those games will not appear on that arbiter page after the 3 weeks, okay? And crew chiefs will be in bold lettering. I can tell you that Alex and I obviously bumped out as much because there's only 2 umpires, but we're going to be going through reviewing crew chiefs and all those things, okay? So at least for conference weekends, that'll be what we're going to do there. As far as the rotations go, guys, non-conference, B1, whatever you guys want to do. Whoever wants to work what position, you guys work that out. Division III, JUCO, and the Penn State League, same thing. It's a preference. Obviously in doubleheaders, you're both going to work a plate. But guys, and I know this is one of my fault for many years, I always want to do the first plate. Don't be that guy. If there's someone else or that wants to work it, give it to them, switch it off, okay? And now the next topic is something that is kind of uncomfortable to talk about in a way, something that sometimes we ignore from time to time. But I think to an umpire, to a man, it's one of the things that we all bitch about when it happens, and that's dodging the plate. Obviously, doubleheaders, you're both working one. But guys, if you're a guy who just gives them up, or maybe midweek you don't ever bring your plate gear with you, that's got to end. For many reasons. Respect your partners, but also you can't work one plate a week and expect to be sharp. Alex said something to me, a couple months ago, and I actually liked it and never really thought about it. And for me, I always work plates midweek. I just didn't think that it was my job to just take the days off. Or if I thought I was going to have an easy day, I'd have 5 whackers and an ejection on the bases. So I wanted to stay sharp. But guys, if you work a Friday night plate, work a Tuesday plate. You work a Saturday, work a Wednesday. Thursday, if you work a Sunday one. But stay active, work plates, keep fresh, and keep on your game behind the plate. And certainly that's an email or a phone call I don't want to hear, that so-and-so is not working plates. And it sounds a little catty to begin with, but if we're all doing the right thing here, it's going to be a non-issue. Okay, so do the right thing. The conference rotations, they're going to be discussed, and I'm going to be holding a bunch of Division I conference meetings, which I'll list the dates here shortly, but those rotations we're going to go through, or I'm going to go through and make sure we have those all set in the order that are going to be prepared to use during the season. A lot of them are in there now just to get the spots filled. Guys, there's no registration fee. There's no turnback fees. We're not looking to make money off of you guys in that way. We want you guys to make as much money as you possibly can for the work that you do. So that's one thing that from the very start of this 3 years ago and now moving forward with me, that's not going to change. So what you guys earn and make out there is yours. As far as game fees go, the correct game fees are not in there right now in most cases, and those are going to be updated once we go through rotations and such. So that with the specific mileage and everything or anything else that apply will all be updated shortly. So if you're worried about the game fees, they'll be in there very soon. And umpires will have a chance to review all your games. Any errors you see, mileage, etc., make sure you let us know. I mean, Alex is really good at making sure he gets the mileage calculated and everything the way it's supposed to be in there. But if something doesn't seem right, reach out to us. We'll take a look at it and review it again. But once the fees and everything in there, it should be pretty accurate. Now, as far as the signing fees, guys, I mean, this hasn't changed. Or for guys that are new, we do not charge a game or a signer fee. For conference games. Okay, that's all yours. Non-conference, 10%. Now, that 10% is the game fee, not mileage, not anything else, but just 10% of that game fee. And we don't charge assigning fees for canceled games. Once again, it's not our practice to make money off of you guys. Alex will invoice you guys via email on around the 1st of June, and it's due on receipt. So, guys, you've worked all season long. You've made a fair amount of cash. Just make sure you pay that bill and get it into us right away, okay? As far as uniform standards, OPS information, all that information is on our website, www.unitedumpires.org, under the umpire resource in the right-hand corner of the site. So all that stuff is up there. So if you guys haven't been on the website, Jim Clayton has done a great job. There's some really good stuff up there. So make sure you go on the site, and all that information is there. Now, as we all know, this past year, the NCAA was an online clinic. Next year will be in person, and it will be, well, for most of us, will be in Pittsburgh. Okay? Obviously, if you guys can't make the Pittsburgh date, which will be the last of the 4, and you want to go to, I think it's Chicago, Orlando, and Phoenix, you guys can go there and get credit and fulfill your obligations there. But for next year, 2019 season, it will be held in Pittsburgh. All right, we've started the process already of putting together some ideas for our summer clinics, and they should be announced somewhere in the beginning of March. But as of right now, we have a 2-man camp, 2 of them, one in New Jersey, one in Syracuse, and the 2 3-mans that we'll be running will be New Jersey and Rochester. So more information to come. This is not a sales pitch. This is not to force you guys to go to a camp. That's not what we do. But just know that we have really good camps, have been very successful, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can attest to that. But we'll have that information up around the 1st or so, beginning of March. All right, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Danny Miller. He's going to talk to you about Facebook and social media and all the good work that he's doing there.
Hi, guys. I appreciate everybody being here. I will be very brief. I just wanted to discuss, just for a moment, all of our digital platforms, specifically Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Of course, any important information we email. We've consistently done that. But what I did want to point out to everybody is the most up-to-date information, our daily dissemination of information, whether it's something as innocuous as cage work or as something as important as this conference call. Facebook and Twitter will always be the most up-to-date. Secondly, as I said already, emails will be important, but everything else that we do in terms of the engagement that we've received from all of you guys, it's something that we appreciate, and if possible, I would encourage everybody to engage more. The more that we show this type of engagement to the different conference clients, it is resonating with them. They are noticing it. So I would just encourage all of you to engage as much as you possibly could. As all of you know, the 3 platforms we have are Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I want to speak briefly about YouTube. That's where all of our training content is centrally located. It's pretty much one-stop shopping for all of our training content. And 2 things became very clear when we were going through the process in October with the conferences. All of this training content has made an impression with them. They're interested in it. They believe it has value. And while they have zero interest in requiring any of us to attend clinics, they do have an interest in continuing education. And one of the things that they were intrigued about was, like I said, all of the training content that we do have up there. That said, one of the things that we discussed at length with the conferences was expanding this training content. And one of the things that we want to try and do this year is, whether it's bi-weekly or weekly ideally, we would like to come up with a video segment from plays from our conference games, whether it's, interesting rule applications, one of those crazy, naughty plays. Think of it in terms of the plays that we talk about when we get back into the locker room. Anything that as a crew you discuss after a game and you continue the learning. If we can expand that learning to the entire group, that's to the benefit of all of us. So we don't have the exact parameters or how the process is going to work. I have to get in touch with some of the conference people to get passwords and get clearance from them. And once we do that, Chris will be in touch regarding the process. It might be as simple as crew chiefs just sending me an email saying, hey, in the 3rd inning of the Brown-Dartmouth game, this interesting play happened, and then I'll just take it from there. And like I said, ideally it's just something that, it's just another way where we can expand the learning. That's all I have, and once again, I appreciate all of your time.
Guys, how are you? It's Alex. Just wanted to touch base with all of you guys. As this call's been going on, I've had a few emails come in, and just wanted to touch base with a few questions that have come up with a couple of the things Chris has said, just to make sure that we don't have any miscommunications. All of the evaluations that Chris talked about, whether they be peer or crew chief, all of those evaluations are done through Arbiter, and you will have instructions on how to do those. There is no need for anybody in terms of an evaluation of a series or a summary of a series to ever send an email regarding that stuff. You can do it all through Arbiter. Number 2, I had a question come in about an ejection that occurs between games of a doubleheader. As a rule, if there is an ejection between games of a doubleheader, we know you won't have much time to talk, but just make that phone call. And if you don't get whoever the appropriate coordinator is, just leave a message, hey, I had an ejection. Obviously, you'll have to deal with suspensions in the second game as appropriate. And the third thing, and it's something I always kind of say, if you're trying to reach out for Warren, for Danny, for Chris, for me, please leave a message when our machine picks up. Let us know what you need, and we'll get back to you. I can't tell you how many times I have guys call me 6 or 7 times throughout the day. They don't leave a message. They just keep calling back. And if you feel that it's something that you don't want to leave a message on the machine, at least say, hey, this is so-and-so. I would normally leave a message, but I feel this is important enough that I need to talk to you directly. And that way we at least know. But there are a ton of phone messages that Chris, Danny, Warren, we can respond to you guys via email when you reach out to us. And that sometimes is easier if we're trying to answer 10, 12, 14 voicemails in a night. So those are the 3 points of clarification. We'll talk again here in a few points as we get down to the end of the agenda, but I think Chris is going to pick up here starting with the schedule for the conference staff meetings.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, guys, one thing that we identified, and really not only with you umpires and our staff, but with coaches and everybody, is opening up lines of communication and honestly in season and continuing education throughout the season. I mean, how many times do we get in the middle of the season and we're so busy with work and games and family that we're just doing the games and not really keeping up to date with new things, new rule interpretations, any issues that may be going on. So that being said, at the Division I level, I will be holding conference staff meetings just like this, the dial-in. And there's a very good chance, guys, I'm going to do one every week. I have to figure out what night's going to be best, but at least every 2 weeks for sure. And that'll be all staff, all conference staff. And, guys, I think that's very important because, you know, there's going to be situations or I'm going to have communications from a specific conference that maybe you guys should be alerted of on a weekly basis. You know, hey, this is what I'm hearing. This is what situation's going on. Or, guys, let's face it, if there's two teams that have an issue that may end up seeing each other further down the road, or a team, and not about a coach or a player, this isn't a bitch session by any means, but certainly just getting information out and get that communicated to you guys in season, I think, is very, very important. So the dates that we're going to do this, for Ivy League umpires, March 6th at 8:30. NEC, March 6th at 9:15. The MAC will be March 7th at 8:30. And America East will be the 7th at 9:15. Now, I realize there's a number of you guys that may be on quite a few of those phone calls. You know, I'm not looking to take a whole lot of time, just brief information to pass out to you guys so we're all on the same page. And I think it's going to be very beneficial for everybody involved, just to be prepared throughout the season with any changes that may occur. All right. Summer baseball leagues that we will be assigning, we still have the NECBL, NYCBL, MCBL, and for guys that live up in my neck of the woods, we have the Thruway League, which we're working with now. So, guys, plenty of opportunities to get out there and to work and improve and certainly put a little cash in your pocket. But, guys, summer baseball is such an effective tool to work on certain things. You know, quite honestly, any evaluations you have, any feedback you may have received during spring season, obviously the summer is a great opportunity to go out and work on those things and prepare yourself for 2019. So strongly encourage you guys to work in the summer. You know, it's not mandatory. And let me make one point, too, here, guys. We certainly appreciate guys that work for us in the summer and guys that work a lot of games and show that commitment to us in the leagues that they work in. But, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you worked X number of games in the summer that that's going to translate to a better schedule in the spring, okay? And I think you guys can understand that. Certainly, through hard work in the summer and improvement, it can only help your game. And once again, we appreciate you being out there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your schedule the next year is going to be bigger or better, okay? That's just not how we do business. That's really all I have for tonight, guys. Region 19 umpires, please stay on the call. Alex is going to have some information for you.
Chris, just, guys, I just had one email come through. I know that, Chris, you've had probably a couple different cell numbers in the past. So for everybody, Chris's accurate cell phone number is 585-413-8924. I'll say it again. I'll give you a second to grab a pen. Chris's accurate cell is 585-413-8924.
Yeah, I guess I'd forgotten. I've been all over the place in recent years. So,
so
thanks for throwing me out there.
Bump, did you have anything? Danny, are you guys good?
No, the Region 3 umpires, I'll be in communication with you, too, as the season gets closer. and make sure we're on the same page as well. But other than that, nothing else, and let's have a great season.
If anybody has any ideas in terms of content that could be of interest to all of us, I encourage everybody to bring that to my attention, and obviously it's something we will certainly consider.
Yeah, guys, in regards to everything that Danny's doing and the information he's putting up, and I spoke a couple minutes ago about staff meetings and continuing education throughout the season. We're going to do our best to get rule updates. I know there's a rule bulletin that came out today from the NCAA. I'm not sure if we can get those up on the website or anything, but certainly, excuse me, guys, certainly throughout the season, when you have the time, get on those platforms. There's a lot of great information that we put on there and things that we can all learn from. And we're very lucky to have Danny and everything he does, and you guys have seen the proof of that. But to get better and to learn and to improve, you could become a better umpire just by watching what Danny does. So please take advantage of that.
So we will conclude the call here, I guess. Region 19 junior college umpires, that's the PA, New Jersey, Delaware junior college umpires. I would ask you just stay on the line. I'll give everyone a few minutes to log off, and then I'll start going on the Region 19 stuff. It should be about 5-10 minutes. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and I'll be talking to all of you soon. And the Region 19 guys will pick up again here maybe in about 5 minutes once some people have filtered off the call.
Yep, guys,
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for me as well. Thanks for the time tonight and a good way to start the season out. Guys, now that you have actually my accurate cell number, maybe that's why I haven't received a lot of calls. But certainly, any of you guys, feel free to call me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can once we get going here. I'm sure it's going to be ringing off the hook, but certainly I will do my best to call everyone back. And I just wish you guys the best of luck for the season, and let's have a good one.